It's going to be people wearing weird little AI glasses, dude.
And I think that's...
And what's... Oh, what? Who are you? And who are you? Wait on.
Speaking of things that
Who are you?
No.
This is real. I
What?
cross-reference it with 2 dodgy websites.
Let me in.
No. Hello, Martin.
Goodbye.
Welcome to the Unicorn Circuit, your weekly dose of car news, conspiracies, fanking. Today we're talking about the paywall, people. We're talking about how you watch your content, whether you should have to pay for it, the shows that are shutting down, the shows that are doing okay. We've got some weird laws, and it is your last chance to get a signed 240Z poster.
If you were thinking about it and you haven't, now's the chance because they're going to be gone very, very, very soon.
We think there's probably around about 40 hours left. 48 hours, 44 hours, 50 hours. It's about 2 days left and then they're gone forever. And the only place you'll probably be able to find them is on eBay, where everyone appears to be selling them for... There's one of these for $900 already on eBay.
There's a healthy trading system being set up as well, but you can't always get the ones you want. It can be very, very rare. So if you want to secure it, start your collection or finish your collection.
Hey, Martin.
This is the one.
Why is someone selling this for $900 on eBay when we sell them for $29 US?
That I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
Supply and demand,
it makes sense when they're not available anymore, but right now you can still get one. Or do what everyone else has been doing, which is get 2. And one for yourself and one for eBay.
And then bank them. Give it to your mate or, give it to eBay, I guess.
New videos have been coming out thick and strong at ya. A new one has just come out today, which is the 240Z on the dyno. It's been making a bit of a tick-tick noise. A number of people have said in the comments it's because we didn't space out the cam angle sensor. We did space it out. We just didn't make a point of talking about that. We basically shimmed that so it was a similar distance to when that cover is on there. It was a mystery noise that we're still not 100% sure what the
There's a few
source
interesting
of that
comments
noise
though.
is.
That's always interesting hearing from you guys. I know some of you have experience with these sort of engines, and hearing your experiences definitely helps. So thank you for that.
It does.
Always learn something.
And Martin, you were in Moostown.
I was in Moostown in Canada, which is a country that's north of the United States of America. It's joined by land, which blew my mind. And a lot of people, when I said that in the video, were like, oh yeah, Australians don't have countries that are joined by land.
Because people they actually think Canada's a different country, right? Because it's a different passport.
Yeah,
but it's the same.
There's a border.
It's the same bit of land.
It's North America. But anyway, so we went and we K-swapped a Civic in just a couple of days in Vancouver at Linus Tech Tips, which is a tech channel you may or may not have heard about. But a lot of the people that work at that place are massive car guys. The car park is full of cool modified cars. So I had a really good time just hanging out, talking nerdy stuff, talking car stuff. The Haltech guys came along. Brian from VTech Academy was there as well as Miles from Flux, who made some really cool things, including a shifter that uses the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver, which is a screwdriver that those guys developed and manufacture.
But then you can use the
actually
screwdriver.
uses it as the shifter, but then it's removable with a locking mechanism, so you can pull it out, use it, fix stuff, and then stick it back in, and you've got your shifter, and it's lockable, and you can fidget with it. It's very, very cool. Anyway, if you haven't checked that out, go have a look. It was very, very fun, very intense couple of days. Collabs are not normally a thing we do all the time, partly because geographically we're so far from everybody, so it's not the easiest thing to go to.
They're expensive.
Northern America and Europe, where so many of these creators are. We obviously see a lot of our Australian friends often, but it was very, very, very enjoyable, and I'm glad, great feedback from that video as well. It was nice to see that everyone enjoyed it.
We will be talking about this as we get into the news today, talking about some money things. I know there's lots of interest in that. I would say, just to be transparent about it, to go to the other side of the world, film a video on anything, your YouTube ads are not going to make enough money to actually pay for that. So you've either got to get a sponsor to help pay you for it, or you can pay for it yourself, but ultimately the video exists, and the real winner is you guys who get to view so much different stuff in so many... We're going to talk about this in more detail later. Yeah. We will get to that. Last thing that I did want to say is that we don't often deep dive in the stats, much to the disdain of when we used to go to these Google and YouTube meeting things, and I was on stage once, they pulled me down. They're just because they were trying to make a point of what you should be doing is going into the robot and seeing what people are looking for and what they're liking, and then angle everything you make towards what the robot wants. And at that particular time, there was cars, I think lots of cars were coming out of Korea, whether they're Kias or Hyundais or whatever, and they were saying you should deep dive, have a look, see what they like, and then serve the robot back the stuff that it thinks that you want. And to that I say, the robot. because you should be able to do the things you want to do and express yourself the way that you feel like you need to within the constraints of the environment in which you're making stuff. And I pretty much said as such on stage, and they weren't massive fans of that. What am I talking about, Martin? Why am I saying this again? Oh, that's why I'm saying it. But I actually had a look at the stats of Unicorn Circuit. I had a look. What percentage of the 38 of you that are viewing are actually subscribed to this channel? Shocking. 40%. Yeah. Everyone else is just like browsing the buffet, having a look every now and then.
Or, conversely, relying on the robot to serve it to you at a time that it thinks you want it, when it thinks it's worthy, when it doesn't think, because it's just a giant calculator. So
you have to control the robot.
You can
Don't
control
let the robot control you. The point is that if you want to know about when these episodes are out, and even on the main channel as well, there's a little bell and you can click it. On the main channel, we don't talk about click the bell, go get a thing, go get a whatever. It's a wider audience of people, and we kind of think they're going to like it if they want. But of the 38 that are here, by hitting the subscribe button and the bell button, it means that you actually get to know when this mediocre but also excellent and sometimes rubbish show will hit your eyeballs.
Lastly, on the robot point to do with that, the bell is actually just subscribing again. That's kind of what it is, because when you subscribe,
is that good or bad?
Well, when you subscribe way back, you got notifications that there are only 10,000 channels. Now there's millions of channels, and I appreciate why they've gone. We probably need another layer to this because we cannot notify. You'd be notified for every video, so they've gone the stuff you really care about. Hit the bell, right. And so it seems to work.
Well, what that means is if you're really into something, you should be hitting the bell. Really.
Yeah. Or actively looking for it, not relying on the robot to feed you the grey slop to go out and get the tasty stuff that you're interested in. I still think that adventuring side of the internet can be very, very fruitious.
Which means I'm going to hit up there a link to the other channel as well, Mighty Car Mods, right there, and it'll pop up and you can click the button on that, but I'm not going to say it on that channel. Big news. We're talking Supercar Blondie, we're talking Roadkill, we're talking some Top Gear, we're talking Mighty Car Mods.
Yep.
We're talking the dawn of a new era of entertainment and the end of an old one. Hang with us. This episode is the same size as every other one.
So some of the biggest car news that's going down at the moment does relate to social media and does relate to media landscape in general, that being cable TV, free-to-air TV, YouTube's, Instagrams, all that sort of stuff, all these different places that you can get content. Now, obviously, all these different things have had their golden eras. You could argue that film had a golden era back in the day, and then free-to-air television, then cable came and cut their grass, and then streaming came and cut cable's grass, and then YouTube came and cut streaming, and then all these things keep marching on. But what's been interesting is seeing that audiences still manage to find the people that they're most interested in. And I'm talking about Motor Trend, I'm talking about David Freiburger and Mike Finnegan, specifically because we did a collaboration with them back in 2016 where we did the Subaru, and they did their awesome Impala with the huge engine out the bottom. Do you remember driving that thing? What an absolute weapon. Anyway, so we collaborated with those guys, and back in that time, that's when there was this real focus where people had launched YouTube channels. And if you want more info on how this all happened, watch David Freiberger's video that just came out talking about how Roadkill started. A lot of you may not be aware, but the short version is that YouTube came along and said, hey, we've got some funding, we want to basically take on cable, because they really wanted to nail the coffin of cable, especially with car stuff. So they said, we're going to give you some budget, go and make some stuff. And so basically Motor Trend at the time, or whatever they call Interlink Media, they had a different name potentially.
Martin, sorry, quick one. Why didn't we get that? Is it because we're Australian? Because I know lots of automotive channels were given basically seed funding from YouTube. Why didn't we get it?
I want to put it out there that at that time early on, all the biggest channels got it, except for us. We've always said independent. Like YouTube over the years, there's been funding thing that's happened with our skip ahead thing where we did lend us a ride.
Through the government,
so that was through Australian government and YouTube.
But when they did the big car push, which they did, and they're like, we're going to kick off all of these things, maybe they were just like, Mighty Car Mods is already doing it. And
or potentially the experiment was, what happens if we don't fund it?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so Motor Trend got a round of funding. It was to the tune of like $1 million or something to go and make a series about cars. So these guys who were magazine guys got really good production onto it. They paid a whole bunch of people, which at the time there was no way we could have afforded to do that, and went and made a series, which went really well. The audience went really well. Everyone was having a great time. It was going free to YouTube, but at some point that funding stopped. And at that point, they went, okay, we have to work out a different way to pay for this. And at the time, my friend here wrote a really good article called Building the Wall, Who's Going to Pay? Because it happened around the same time as 2016 election.
Link to that article below.
Link to the article below, which is still relevant today. And it's something that we've always worked with to go, how can we make it free for the audience to watch? Can sponsors be involved? How do you pay for it? There's always got to be a way. So
can I give a quick rehash of what that is?
Yep.
There's 3 ways that you're going to have to pay for something. Obviously, time is currency. Everyone says that all the time, but it's my time. Let's forget that. Let's talk about like stuff that's actual money. The way that you can actually do it is you can get a sponsor to come in and pay for the video yourself. You can rely on the AdSense, so that is kind of making a video and hoping there's enough ads on the front of it. Or you can do what we did for most of the time, or all of the time when starting the show, which is that you earn your money from somewhere else. You use that money, you bring it in here, you make YouTube videos, but ultimately the audience gets to watch it at no cost, because you're either using the money that you earn from us working in a recording studio, buy the cars, buy the cameras, do the stuff, you get it for free, or there's ads on the front of it, still you get it for free, or a sponsor comes in and says, hey, I'm going to give you some money, can you do this? Really, the best way of doing that is a combination of all of those things, but that was the nature of how things were paid for. The fourth one, which is probably where this comes into, which is that it goes behind a paywall. Whether that paywall is Patreon or it's members or it's a network, ultimately it means you, as the audience, are directly paying to watch the content, as you were.
Correct. So that funding stopped, and at that point they decided to go behind a paywall. That was fine. A lot of people were happy to pay the $5 a month or whatever it was
and a lot of people
for that
were not.
content. But $5 a month seemed kind of reasonable. I personally thought $60 a year, that's pretty cool. Seeing these guys, I love their show, and I feel like that's good value. They would make 13 episodes a year. You can do the maths on what that costs. And so
it's a lot. 13 feature episodes a year.
Yeah, so they'd spend a week shooting them, and then obviously the post-production. The scale was always quite high. It'd be similar to what we might do for a film, because that's how long it takes, and a huge production budget's required to do that level of stuff and consistently. But then eventually it got geo-blocked. That's a big one. I know anyone from Australia and New Zealand and other countries have an issue with the fact it got geo-blocked.
But they kept taking your money, right?
For a while there was tech stuff that worked, but basically if you're in Australia the answer was no. And the reason was this Motor Trend, or whoever they were at the time, got bought by Discovery and then bought by Warner Brothers, and they were $41 billion in debt or whatever it was. But when a company's in debt, it can still make money, it can still be profitable, but the profits pay off the debt anyway. That's a whole nother podcast.
But normally you're jettisoning a bunch of the stuff that's not making money.
So a lot of the time, and we've had this conversation not in the not too distant past about what happens when investment comes into something like entertainment, and what happens to the audience, and how the audience is necessarily treated during this. What has happened now though is that essentially Roadkill has been cancelled, and by cancelled I mean no new episodes are going to be made under that name or banner, including a bunch of other shows that was also on Motor Trend, like Dirt Every Day and a few others. It got cancelled. There's still episodes coming out. There's still content that's coming out into next year, although when the news broke, that was not clear, and so there was a lot of damage control afterwards from, I think, the people who are still at Motor Trend who were saying, no, there's still stuff, please don't leave.
That was cleared up on a post, because I basically wrote up a post when it happened, because I saw all the normal car media jumped on and went, you'll never guess what happened with the show that you like the clickbaity stuff. And so because we'd spent some time with the guys and have a lot of respect for both of them and the longevity that they've been on the platform and doing, doing what they've been doing, and they've obviously given so much to it and care for it deeply. I just made a post basically saying that, and then there came an official response saying, no, Motor Trend's not over, which was at odds with a post that I'd read earlier, which was Motor Trend was shutting down. So anyway, basically what they were saying is, it's not over, it's still stuff happening, but in a way it's kind of like saying, hey, Metallica, the band, is split up, it's not happening anymore, but we've got a few songs that they recorded and we're going to release them next year. It's not really the way that the audience or fans of a show, they want to know that it has time in it, and they want to know that what they're seeing and experiencing it is somehow connected to a current time and place, because otherwise you're watching it just going, man, this was over like a year ago and we're still watching it, and that makes it awkward because people want to know that the stuff they're into still has life in it.
Exactly. So
and the guys themselves, sorry, just to say, it felt like they were blindsided by it. That's what it felt like.
A little bit. I mean, the conspiracies out there was that, David Freiburger started a YouTube channel a while back, which I think is great anyway. Finnegan started it a long time ago because at some point there was some kind of contract negotiation where he was allowed to do so. But normally a media company would say, no, you can't put yourself on YouTube. We own you, essentially. So when that started to happen, people started to get the idea that there was some independence that was coming in. I sent a message to both guys the second I saw that news and said, hey guys, how's everything going? What's going on? And is it okay if we talk about this? Because I think it's helpful that there's so many crossovers, fans, people still talk about it. It was quite a while ago. People still talk about about it and say it's one of their favourite things and one of their favourite collabs. And collabs was on the radar anyway because we just did a Linus thing recently. There was also a collab. And they said, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and talk about it. But then they went and made their own videos, which you should absolutely check out if you're interested in this. David Freiburger has one on his channel, which we'll link. And Mike Finnegan has one on his, which we'll link. Both explains really well what's going on. And in terms of there being more car content out there that's made by those guys who are very, very experienced and know how to do this stuff, you're going to see more of it, and you guys are going to be able to see it for free, which is great. Will this stuff end up behind a paywall one day? Any of it? Who knows? Like, we really don't know. But all I would say is enjoy what you see while you can, while it's there. If people can somehow work out a way to make it, whether it's by, you know, selling a t-shirt or it's by having sponsors, whatever it is, the real winners is the audience and kind of always has been. And I know there's a lot of people that feel a lot of ownership over it and go, but we want this and we want that. And I appreciate the input is helpful, but not always possible. And those magical budgets where someone just comes from the atmosphere and dumps $1 million in your lap and says, please go and make the best thing you ever want to make. Like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Like where your ideas could take you.
So car stuff are particularly, very well said, Martin, because it's expensive and it's time consuming. And I think it's not to kind of put down people that are doing makeup tutorials and things like that, but to sit in a room and be able to cook or to game or to
talk rubbish.
You know, yeah, like this. This is a cheaper show to make. Even this show, looking at the numbers, it breaks even. It is not a show that makes income for us from the show. If you look at the AdSense and you look at what it costs in terms of time for editing, putting together, it's not a show that we do for money. It's because we enjoy doing it and we like a quicker way to be able to communicate what's going on. But
also
the point
saves
is, car
money on
stuff
t-shirts.
is expensive.
It saves money on t-shirts because every time we shoot a video on a car and I get covered in crap like that t-shirt's wrecked, you can wear the same t-shirt on Unicorn Circuit and just wash it and then wear the same thing.
Wash it?
Not possible. Not possible on a Mighty Carboards video. Anyway, sorry. I interrupted.
Anyway, I guess the point that I was trying to say is that if you actually broke down how much it costs to work on a car, quite often you're in deficit. If you imagine what it would be like just to get an 86 and get some coilovers, some wheels, some tyres, a turbo kit. Let's pretend you spent 10 or 15 grand on it. You're not making that from AdSense. Like, it's not coming back. So then where does the money come from? Hopefully where it comes from is there's people that support your channel that can help you with sponsorship or help you with parts or help you with time that adds value to the videos.
And why are you seeing so many workshops making videos these days? They're doing it anyway. A lot of the time a customer is paying for that stuff.
Which is good.
It's a double dip. And the third string to that bow is that they also get promotion because then they've got a whole audience of people who can then book in to see their cars. That's the perfect storm. That's what's changed in a big way. For a long time, workshops wouldn't have done it. Now, the guys that work there, they're digital natives. They've always had phones, and a phone can film some amazing quality stuff. Yeah. And you can just go, oh, we're in the workshop doing this today. And again, the winners, who? You guys. There's more cool stuff to watch from more workshops that you would never have had that insight into. It's a bit different from what we do, but it's still content that can be enjoyed.
And I think the exciting thing about people working on cars or any machines or doing art that is a real physical nature is that AI can't really do it in a way that I think anyone would want to watch. Like, does someone want to watch AI fiddling around with the pixels of a car? Well, that's Need for Speed and all the other PlayStation games, isn't it? But you know what I mean? Like, people actually doing stuff, which is a bit of a rough and clunky segue to these articles that have been coming out.
There's so many.
First of all,
so many.
I'm just going to compare a couple of these different articles that have come out recently. So here's an article here. Man unboxed a mystery car he bought off the internet, and what came was a model not sold in his country. This man bought a mystery car online. It was a VW not sold in his country. This is now saying the same thing again.
And the video that's below it, is that just an ad?
Yeah, it's a Volkswagen ad, so it's not our video. The car became part of an amazing DIY project. Now, the picture is a picture of Marty doing the YouTube face, so going like that. But it was actually my car. It was a Volkswagen Up, but it wasn't me. I'm referred to as this man. And then as I go down, there's a video of, it says, you know, this man, they're based in Australia. And
it also called me Martin, which is interesting. So go up a bit.
Yeah.
It says, Moog and his co-host Martin are based in Australia. Like, I'm not really called Martin anywhere except on my birth certificate and by him and my mum when she's angry. That's it. Like,
oh, me when I'm angry.
Yeah, I guess so. That doesn't happen very often, though. You're not an angry dude.
No, when I'm angry with you.
But how often's that?
Buying Civics 3 times a year, probably. 3 times a year. Anyway, so then look at this next article. Someone claimed to have found a lost Bugatti. Someone claimed to have found this.
Yeah, what's with that?
This man did whatever. Detailer transforms a car. So anyway, this is Supercar Blondie. So I had a look at this. What was interesting is that The comments are not into it at all.
Oh no.
And they're going hard. So that is that AI. There's another one that was of a similar nature that was talking about, these content creators found something on the back seat of the car. What was it? It was a shit. It was in the back of a Honda Civic. It's like they could go, Mighty Car Mods found a shit in the back of a Civic. Maybe that's not a headline that's as exciting. I think that's more exciting. And I'd like to compare that. We don't have a bias here, by the way. No one's asked me to say this, but I want to compare this to an article that came out a couple of days ago by Ben Zachariah. This is on
the Drive
Network.
Which I think is all hooked up to like car sales and stuff, right? It's like one big network.
But he's written an article. It's a real article by a real human who can spell. And it says, following the UK's Top Gear and the Grand Tour shows ending as we know it, Motor Trend's Roadkill will also be winding up. It's then got some photos of the actual cars that's accurate. It's got some information and history that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's got some quotes here. I like this quote here. It says, where was it? It says, early days of YouTube, there's limited options when it came to quality car content. It seemed that you had Mighty Car Mods, Top Gear and Roadkill on Motor Trend. I mean, that's a great quote. It's my quote because he took that off a Facebook post that I made. But the point is there are still humans out there that are doing good things. Iain Kelly, he has written all of these amazing blogs that are up on our website, and I do want to give that a shout out.
Absolutely.
He has written up a detailed story about what went down with Roadkill and what the changes are over there. It's linked below. Check that out.
There's
Point
new ones
being,
every week.
AI is coming and AI is changing things, but there are still real humans out there doing real stuff, and I'm proud to be part of that.
Expect to see your feed flooded with more recycled stuff, because as content farms and as agencies that we're going to rejig your content, which we get emails about that every single day. Can we take your content and make more stuff and take half the money? Whatever that sort of stuff is, it's going to be this kind of rubbish. You're going to see more and more of that pushed into your feed. The more ads that are on that, the more it's going to get pushed into your feed, because also a lot of these people will pay for you to see it. They will make the stuff and then pay the platforms to push other things out of the way, which might be the organic and new stuff, or maybe new creators that are just coming up and they're not getting those kind of views because it's all just being flooded with stuff. So be aware of it. The only thing you need to do as someone who's enjoying this stuff is be aware that that's happening and make your choices accordingly. I know sometimes I'll purposely go on an old school internet mission where you go out into there and you actually look for stuff. You don't just rely on those feeds to just feed you more stuff, and you do subscribe to stuff and you do follow things and you do occasionally support. So you're hungry, aren't you? Yeah. Support creators. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the news section. I think that pretty much covers all the news stuff we're going to talk about. Was there anything else?
I think so. It was very, very dense. I think you've made a good point, Martin, is that we can't actually control all the robots.
No.
But we can create an environment in which we can be aware of how the robots work. We've been on this platform, Mighty Car Mods has been going for 17 years, but we were making videos for about a year before that.
Yeah.
So, 18 years, maybe even more. And I only found out recently that some content creators are paying to have their videos run as ads to artificially inflate their numbers. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Me neither.
What that would mean is that we would contact a Google person and we would say, hey, we've made a video about a 240Z. Here's $50,000. Can you make sure more people are seeing it? And then it's going to run as like pre-roll ads before other people's videos.
Or float it to the top.
And then inflate numbers, in which case then you could go back to whoever paid you to make that video on how to wash your car or whatever that was, and then show them numbers, but the numbers are not actually accurate. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And of course that is happening in the playground, but I just assumed everyone was playing nice. So you can't believe the numbers either.
No.
You look at some of these AI, what I don't know if they are, but you look at the Supercar Blondie
like
posts. It reads like AI. It may not be, and I apologise if you're a human that actually wrote that. But it's not great. And so, but then you look at the amount of followers and stuff on there and you're like, how can so many people be just taking the AI and accepting it?
Yeah.
Or taking articles of that manner and just accepting it. I don't quite understand that. Maybe I'm just old.
No, it's a bit of an era shift. But who knows what the next one is? That's what I like to think about. You go, so what's next then? So if we've gone from TV, and like my point before, TV, cable, broadcast, everyone disrupting everyone else, who's going to disrupt now?
It's going to be people wearing weird little AI glasses, dude.
And I think that's...
And what's...
What?
What? Who are you? And who are you? Wait on.
Speaking of things that Speaking of things that are not legal, now it's time for Is That Even Legal?
Every week on the show, we enjoy exploring different laws from around the world. Martin, when I come around, no, when
Hello!
hello, mate. Mate,
You actually come over or just hello?
yes, hello. Martin, if you come over to my place, do you want to come over to my place?
Yep.
Okay. And then and I'll invite you over for dinner. You hungry?
Yep, always.
Yep, awesome. And then you get to my place and you're at the front door.
Yep.
And then what are you going to do? You reckon?
I'm going to knock on your door.
Are ya?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't send a message?
Well, you invited me over and I go, let me in, I'm hungry.
That is illegal.
No.
This is real. I
What?
cross-reference it with 2 dodgy websites. In Jamaica, it is illegal to knock on someone's door if it annoys them.
Hello, man.
So then the point is, here's the thing, right? So you've turned up on the right day.
Oh.
Let me show you what happened. So knock on the door.
Hey, mate.
G'day, mate.
How you going?
How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Hello. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate.
Hello, mate.
Yeah.
I've cooked you some dinner.
Thanks, man.
There you go. Oh, great. Okay, and that was a Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, sweet.
Okay, but then okay, now let's reverse. You come over on Tuesday night.
It's
okay?
Tuesday
So
night.
knock again.
Hey, mate. Is anyone home?
Who is it?
It's Martin.
God,
Oh, why?
because it's illegal.
Let me in.
No.
Let me in.
Nope. Nope.
Let me in.
No. Hello, Martin.
Goodbye. In jail. At least I have
Who
something.
are you?
At least I have something to keep me occupied in jail. Sure, the jail in Australia is spelled G-A-O-L.
OL. No, how do they spell it over there?
J-A-I-L.
Do they? That's
Yeah.
wrong.
Well.
It is.
Anyway.
We speak English,
Next up,
right?
let's
Martin, sorry, didn't America come from England? Wasn't American? Wasn't it England? Didn't England get there first? Other than the indigenous people of the land, I'm talking about.
I think we should move on.
No, but shouldn't American people? They claim to speak English.
It's not the Queen's English.
Who cares?
Well, the Queen. Well, it's not the King's English now, isn't it?
I don't know. What does he
some-
say? What language does he speak?
English.
Yeah, but in America they speak English. They refer to it as an English-speaking country.
Parenthesis US.
Oh, do they?
Well, yeah.
Oh, so they deliberately allow themselves to say it wrong, just because they put. That's like saying, "Hey, going dog." Oz, how are you?
Yeah. That's exactly
Can't
what it
do
is.
that.
Next off, we're going to keep it light and we're going to do some quick car shopping, window shopping. Let's do it.
It's a new section where we look at cars for sale on the internet, and Marty will show you ones that he thinks are good, and I'll show you one too.
All right, on car window shopping, we go car window shopping because we've been dealing with some nuggety Hondas that are worth nothing overseas with our collaboration. You'll be right, mate. You'll be right. One day, once I all-drive K-swap something that's sequential gearbox and a turbo, you're going to love it. It's going to take some time and some work, but I'm going to get you there. Don't worry about it. Anyway, this week we're talking Hondas under $5,000. My goodness, can you get a freaking bargain? Watch this. We're going to pump through it quick because I know people with Hondas and who don't like Hondas
Jazzes.
have short attention spans.
I don't
Let's
have
go.
a short. How
Straight
dare
up.
you, Martin? What are we talking about?
When it comes to Hondas, you've got a
What?
short attention
I
span.
forgot what section we're doing. I
Anyway,
love jazzes.
We're going to start
Jazzes
up,
are awesome.
Lucky, we're going to start with a 2007 Honda Jazz
That's
for
a great car.
$1,500. I'm sorry, that's basically giving a car away. That has registration. Next up,
Martin, can't you get jazzes with like a VTEC?
oh,
Isn't there a version of them that has a variable valve situation?
VVT. I don't think they've got VTEC. I know people swap VTEC engines into them. That'd be sick.
Sounds like a waste of time.
Sounds like a very fun waste of time. Next up, we're going to go back to the 80s, and we've got a Honda Accord. I drove one of them.
That looks like a Ford Meteor.
I drove one of them. It was excellent. I know.
Oh, that's right. I remember what you told me about
Yeah,
that one.
does excellent.
What was
Next up, we have a 1996.
wasn't in there alone.
Looks like an EK, an early EK. That is also a VTI, which I think is one of the
That
good
looks
ones.
good. Burgundy cars usually look rubbish, but that looks pretty good.
$2,500. You can't really argue. If it was a hatch, it would be worth twice as much.
Why do you hate red cars so much, Martin?
I don't like burgundy and red cars. I don't know.
Okay.
Why do you not like green ones?
Green over tan. Do you know what I give that out of 10?
What?
I'll tell you later.
Next up, we've got a 1996 Integra. I believe that's a DC2. Anyway, a 1.8 litre in that one as well. $2,775.
The 2-litre Type R is the good one, isn't it? Of
Yeah,
those?
this is auto, but still, they're good on a track. Put a manual in it, and away you go. We've also got a 2000 Honda Accord. Why did I pick this one out? Because it's V6, and they did make V6 Accords as well. All
That's
of them
cool.
auto, no manuals behind them, unfortunately, and apparently no manual box you can put behind them that I'm aware of in Australia that we get. In the States, I think it's a different story. They did come out manual. This is 1998 Honda Prelude as well, the
VTI.
old school one. SI Auto, they're all auto, but they're cheap. $3,150 for, I mean, it's going to be a reliable Nugget. It's got a 2.2. Is that a H22? I think it's in them. Next up, we've got a 2000 Honda Civic as well. That's an EK. I just picked it because it's got mad chromies on it.
Okay.
$4,000, man. You could just be turning heads like there's no tomorrow. Next, 2005 Honda Civic. Why is this one interesting? Because it's the same one that we K-swapped in Canada. Exact same car. Civic sedan. And finally, this one I find to be a bit weird, but I kind of like them, is the Honda HR-V. They're a bit of a weird looking thing.
They all-wheel drive?
Yeah. They're all-wheel drive, but still little engines in them. I don't know exactly what the deal is with the all-drive system. I imagine it's a pretty like soft rotary type one, but still, two-door, weird-looking, very JDM Nugget thing, which I think I've seen them done, and I've seen them done well, and they actually look kind of cool and a bit quirky. And I reckon those late 90s cars are starting to come into that sort of thing where you can rock up to them. If you've done something interesting
and
with it,
people kind of get it.
That's kind of cool. We went through that with the 80s and the early 90s stuff. I reckon late 90s is coming up now, being that's coming up on 25 years. Well, that's exactly 25 years old. So there you go. Car window shopping. What have you got?
Mun, as usual, I've just found the best car on the internet. And shockingly, particularly after featuring this car last week on the show,
We did.
It is still for sale. There it is. Boom. We actually met the owner of this car, came to a drift event that we had last week. We got to have a little walk around it, made a little video on socials and stuff. Very nice bunch of people. But Martin, right now the price has gone up.
What?
So the asking price now is $350,000, which I still think is not money poorly spent. And the reason why, Martin, is because at the Mighty Mods Drift event, I gave it a valuation. So this is signed as an official valuation. This car is worth $350,000. And they've changed their listing to price increase due to official Mighty Car Mods evaluation.
I mean, they've thrown money at car sales or whatever it is to show it. It feels like it's very valid.
They would take it. Like, they would take the money, but they have said no low balls. So it would be $350.
Imagine if someone
340.
did.
I don't think they would.
Imagine if
sell
someone did just come and give you $350,000 for your Echo. What would you
did
do
that.
with it?
Remember, I did that, Martin. Remember, in the early days of the internet, I sold a piece of paper on the internet for $8.
Oh, you did too.
And I thought I was so clever because I got a piece of A4 paper and I said, whatever it was, 210 mil by 97.
297, yep.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
297
A4.
by
Yep,
2.
by 210.
Oh, really?
That's A4, yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed I remembered that. Anyway, I said, 1 times piece of paper, 297 by 210, A4. And the bid started, because I did an auction, and it goes, ended up going for $8. And I was like, man, I know, clever. But it turns out there are paper collectors around the world, and that is not a standard size overseas. And the person that won it was a paper collector from the States that wanted a piece of A4 paper.
Can we have a very, very quick discussion on that one, just briefly? I know that in the US, a lot of you watching from there, you have like US letter as a standard size. Our standard is A4, which is slightly bigger. It's the exact size. 210 mil by 297 mil. Millimeters is this weird thing where 1 millimeter and then 2 millimeters is exactly twice the size of 2 millimeters, and then 4 millimeters is exactly twice the size of 2 millimeters. It's a real weird thing. It's not 5/16 to 5/8 to 7/64. It's just this metric system. Anyway,
it makes way more
what's
sense.
interesting about paper is if you get an A4 and you fold in half, what size have you got?
Well, it should be an A2.
No, other way.
No, it should be an A2 by the numbers.
Why?
Because you're getting smaller.
Oh, yeah, okay. It goes, yeah, I see what you're saying. It goes the opposite. So if you get an A4 sheet of paper and fold it in half, that's now A5.
Yep.
If you get an A4 sheet of paper and double the size of it, that's
A3.
A3.
Yeah.
And on it goes. So it's kind of an interesting way that, I don't know how it happened, but that's the standard that we use here.
The
That's what
smaller
we
the
used
number is, the bigger the piece of
to.
paper.
Which is why our poster over there, I believe, is A1, and that's why it's a metric size. So when you're getting a frame for it, if you're going to frame it, you want to get a metric framey poster. What's next? Are we doing conspiracy hat, Cat?
So, Martin, potentially, this here should be made up of equal portions of A4, right? So, 1, 2, 3 A4s.
I don't know.
But aren't we reporting on this?
Yeah, but I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
I don't know if it changes when you get to like A1 and A2.
Okay.
I actually have no idea.
Good chat. All right.
Next up, we're going to do conspiracy hat, Cat. This week on Tinfoil Hat Conspiracy Cat, we're talking about airlines, people. Airlines are open themselves up to a lot of conspiratorial stuff. Why? Do you ever feel like when you are on an airline, like you're just not really informed about a lot of, like there's a lot going on that you don't know about? I'll give you an example.
We shouldn't know about it, though.
I was on a plane recently and there was like 2 seats that were to my right that were empty and the plane was pretty full. and they're just empty, and there was like a window seat, and it was. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll move over there, and so I went to move over there, and this person came running, like, you can't sit there. I'm like, oh, sorry, why? Because like, you know, I know you're not supposed to move after a certain time. But I said, oh, is it okay if I sit there?
So they can find the bodies when it crashes.
Oh, apparently. They're like, no, you can't move there. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then I realised later there's like a curtain and they like block those two seats off. That's one example. Where's the food and rubbish come from? Where does it go to? We've spoken about the taps in the past as well. Why do they board planes the way they board in these weird ways? Why do they have the weight limits on the baggage, but then there'll be people that take multiple bags and some people that take none, and then somehow but they don't know what that is because you don't have to tell them.
The air bridges are weighing everyone.
The air bridges are weighing everyone. There you go.
That's one of the conspiracies.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, the conspiracy I'm talking about today.
Do you have any other questions? I could answer them for you. Ask me one right now about planes. I'll tell you the answer. Why the winglet's on there? That's for better efficiency.
Everyone knows that. How come planes used to have 4 engines and now they only have 2?
Oh, because more efficient, because the eco-warrior stuff.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do me a quick fire.
I'm not good at quick fire questions.
Well, just make it a slow swing then. I'll answer everything. You want to know about the carpet? That's not carpet, by the way.
What is it?
Dude, I'll tell you. Come on, man.
Save it for next time. Anyway.
Dude, it's a special porous kind of plastic that soaks up vomit. And each of those things that looks like carpet is a capillary, and underneath the plane, there's a whole section that, dude, think about how much bodily fluid and food and other stuff is getting spilled on the floor. How many times have you seen someone on an international flight vacuuming the floor? 0.
Well, you don't see it because they do it after you get off.
No, they don't. When you get off, it sucks it down into the floor.
Oh, sounds like it's heavy and inefficient.
Then it blasts it out the back, dude.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, let's move
if
on
you
to
look
Fanking
up,
then.
if you look up airline booking systems, pick a popular route. In Australia, that might be Sydney to Melbourne, Sydney to Brisbane, the next biggest cities. Often these airlines will have hourly flights. So there's one at 7 a.m, 8 a.m, sometimes 8:30, 9:30 for the really busy peak times.
I'll tell you why they do that.
Tell me why they do that.
Because
you might be about to ruin my.
No, because every hour people have got to fly somewhere.
Okay, thank you very much for your input on that one.
That's why.
But what you'll notice is
not difficult.
Almost always, all those flights will not go. They'll be delayed or they'll be cancelled. And why is that? Because they're shuffling people onto the other flights. They know straight away that there's not going to be 15 flights going back, forth all day. They know there's going to be 10 or 8 or 7, depending how busy it is. And they will not tell anyone that. They just want to have the biggest booking catchment so that people will go, I've got a 10 o'clock meeting. I need to be there at 8. I'm going to book the 6:30 flight. But then they go, well, once they're at the airport and they're committed and they've paid the money and
what kind of meeting are you having at 8 o'clock at night?
We don't guarantee, and a lot of the terms and conditions say they don't guarantee you're going to get there. So you booking a ticket is not actually a ride at all to get where you need to go. It's just that we're going to try our best. Anyway, so then you get to the airport and you check in and you wait at the lounge and you do whatever and then you sit there and then they go...
Wait at the lounge? What are you flying on?
The lounges. I don't mean like...
I'm sitting against the wall trying to find a USB thing and you're eating slop up in the lounge.
I don't go to the lounges, they're gross. Anyway, so they got you sitting there and waiting. By then, you're not, when they go, we're going to delay the flight, or due to staff issues, we're going to cancel the flight. Then they push, if they know they've got two planes with 200 capacity that both have 100 on them, what's the most sensible thing to do? Cancel one of the flights and combine them and put them in the same thing. They still get the money, everyone still flies, and on the off chance there's 210 people to a 200-person flight, it's still more efficient to kick those 10 people off to another later flight or to offer them a hotel voucher or a travel voucher to not get on the plane at all.
Is this the conspiracy yet?
The conspiracy is the
airlines... I don't think
airlines...
that's a conspiracy. I reckon that's probably true.
The airlines were never ever going to fly 14 flights that day. They were only ever going to fly 10. The conspiracy is that they're going to advertise it to you, make you pay the money to get you to the airport so you're already invested so you won't leave. So you get on your flight, you get there, oh yeah, my plane was delayed, oh no. But they were never actually going to do it anyway.
So the ticket booking system is just a funnel to maximise. That's convenient for me, convenient for me.
The hours
what
mean
you're
nothing.
suggesting is they're advertising a service that they have no intention of delivering.
That is like the up and down button on the temperature on an air conditioner.
Okay.
It means nothing.
Come on, man. Martin, here's what I recently found out.
You know how I like fishing?
What does...
Here we go. The internet doesn't have time for this and you are way too hungry. I don't want you to get hangry, man.
No, this is a quick one.
Aircon and food, bad
What
combo.
does the closed door button on an elevator do?
Well, you'd argue nothing.
No, dude.
What does it do?
Nothing.
What does it do?
It does nothing.
Yeah.
It's not connected to anything.
Oh, but some countries it does.
Yeah. Not over here.
Not here. No, I've noticed that.
anything.
If you go to Japan, you've got to press the close button, and the people that there are very conscientious about pressing it, and it actually changes things. In Australia, I feel like close does basically
Do
nothing.
you, regardless of the country you work, I know lots of people that view the show work, because I've heard seen you in the comments before, elevator maintenance or escalators and stuff, because I heard from a very good source that there is nothing on that button except the light. So the same as that Russian boost thing that we bought back in the day off eBay. And that if you, and we could probably test this, get in the elevator, walk in, start a stopwatch, how long it takes to auto close versus get in and do that. The suggestion is that it's a placebo to give you a sense of control over something which is uncontrollable and designed for people who are scared of elevators so that they can somehow have some control over what's going on. Do you work on them? Do you know? Please let us know. And if somebody could legally, if it's part of your job, film the back of the control panel where you can show that there's 3 wires going to all of them, except for that one there's 2. That I would love that. That'd make my day.
Speaking of things we love, next up is Fanking.
Fanking. Fanking is the delightful art of recontextualising a product's name by taking a photo of it down near your crotch. This week we've got some absolute rippers. We're just diving straight into it. Boom. Premium butt gas. Explosion-proof design. Martin, that says CRV, safety can. I wonder if you can use that on your Honda.
Explosion-proof, okay, sure.
I wonder what that is.
Sounds like someone's going to test that theory.
Yeah, it sounds like we should. Look at this one, Martin. Just straight up.
Oh.
I don't want to go on record saying that out loud.
No, neither.
Here we go. The original butt nut. There we go. That says hairy peanut. Sorry, flaky peanut.
Flaky peanut.
I need to get some. No,
Yeah.
I don't. All right, never stop reaming. Good job. All right, next up, Pounder. We got some good ones this week.
What does it say? Pounder World. Oh, it doesn't. I thought maybe it's something.
It's Pounder and Pop-Tart together, so I don't know
Nice.
what it is. It's probably something that weighs a pound, I reckon. Santa's Jingle Juice. Well done. What do you reckon? That is a little thing of whiskey?
Yeah, definitely.
Next up, the Parrot Bum Ring. I don't know. Look, that's just silly, but you're in a pet shop, so well done.
That's great.
Next up, that's great. Not saying that out loud. All right, next up, anus. Just classic.
Plain and simple.
Just plain and simple. Next up,
Dude, the Fanks are good this
they're
week.
very, very good. And next up, we do have Fank of the Week. Drum roll, please, Martin. Boom. We've got the Boredom Breaker.
What is it?
It's an activity tunnel.
For who? For a bird?
I don't know, Martin. But the Boredom Breaker activity tunnel is... We're down here in the gutter. Well done. If you would like to share some of your Fanking photos, you can put them on the Fanking Facebook group. We'll link the little thing along here.
Can I just...
Now, Martin, did you want to talk about your flashlight?
No, I want to show you something. So I'm gonna do like a little screen recording thing here, right? Okay. So I want to show you what keeps popping up for me all the time.
Okay.
So here we go, record. So I'm gonna go out, and we're just gonna. It normally comes up just in the main feed, but I just want to show you something, right? So if I just search for this, look what comes up. Look, hang on, I got to spell it right. Flashlights.
Yeah, it's spelled with an E, I think.
So this keeps coming up for some reason. The algorithm thinks that I'm interested in flashlights. And so every time I go on
use those, apparently.
well, they've got them on the front of their trucks, obviously.
What?
So anyway, so it'll come up through the normal.
It's because of what you've been searching for, and you wrote it in wrong.
I promise you, it's not. Anyway, it'll go through the first few posts, which is usually like him shitting on about something. He's on, I travelled the world, I did copy, and someone else shitting on about their car, and my paywall got taken down. Shitting on, and then what it shows me is this. So it'll come up in like la 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 la, and then bang, it comes up and says groups you may be interested in: flashlight enthusiasts,
Have you joined it?
flashlight lovers, flashlight fanatics, help and tips for all levels. What do they mean levels?
What tips do you need with the flashlight?
Flashlight fans, ultimate flashlight forum, UFF.
But dude, the ultimate flashlight forum would just be, that's great.
What do you know?
So what, they put photos of the flashlight on there, or how do you use it, or?
No, it's like rechargeable ones and like ones that people have adapted batteries onto to have like longer throw. It's awesome, man. It's really cool. And it's
Look,
always like,
I know we joke about. I've honestly
Dude,
never
it's
seen
always-
one in real life,
but
but I saw a packet of them. Remember we drove across Australia at the truck stop, we saw flashlight packaging.
not flashlight. They're flashlight possums. Like not squashed ones, actual ones. Like they flashlight the possums. And
You mean torches,
flashlights, flashlight enthusiasts.
but not a flashlight.
What's a flashlight?
Come on, man. Don't play dumb with me, Mr. Fisherman.
I'm playing dumb
Okay,
with you.
so
Flashlights buy, sell, or trade. And look at the picture, dude. Look. Are you buying that?
That's a flashlight.
Are you trading that? No.
No, but Martin, it's showing you that because you've just done typos.
What do you mean?
Like when you've typed in flashlight.
No. This thing I didn't search for anything at all. I had to then because it wasn't showing
Well, it's
the
going
algorithm.
to now because everything's
he hasn't
listening.
posted enough posts about. Oh, I went around the world again. So
I didn't go around the world.
well, you did. Flashaholics Anonymous?
Flashaholics.
Yeah, there's so many freaking groups. Speaking of groups, some interesting news that's come out as well is that YouTube is going to be starting basically a group system as well. So you're going to see groups on this platform, much like you'd see on Facebook, so you can post stuff. Because currently it's like a community wall where we can post stuff, but you can't. So there might end up being some form of Mighty Car Mod / Unicorn Circuit group on YouTube, which will be interesting to see as that comes off. I imagine you'll probably see it next year. It just got announced the other day, so
we could call
wait
it
and
the
see.
Unicorn Viewers Flashlight Group.
Flashlight group.
Yes.
Yes.
Either way.
And we could highlight and spotlight interesting things. What's next? Eat bag or something else?
Anymore, man.
Are we just calling it? We're done?
No, we got some stuff to open and there's some stuff to eat.
Oh, let's open it. Let's do it.
let's do mailbag. Each week on the show, when you send in some stuff, we like to open it. You can send us things to the Unicorn Circuit, PO Box 475, Sydney Markets 2129, New South Wales. What have we got? We don't know.
We never know.
This one here is from Adrian from Marylands, which is in Sydney. That's actually not too far away. So let's see what we got from Marylands, Martin. You got a letter. Oh, this one looks exciting because it's got...
Oh, sick.
There's something exciting in here, Martin. Oh, what a weird packaging. I don't think you meant to rip it open because it's very, very messy. All right, it says Unicorn Circuit Run Sheet V2 Adrian Martin. I believe
this is from the guy who was at the Drift event. Oh, that was really, really good reveal, mate. Well done.
Dude,
Very
he's
professional.
Has
he
them.
laminated it?
He's laminated them. Yes. 1, 2, Martin, go get it before we show it. In our little dodgy setup here, we've got a little run sheet. All right, bring it over, Martin. And Martin, tell us the story about this just before I reveal it.
So this is actually a remake of the original sheet which we ran from the very first Unicorn Circuit, which we just did in Techstar. Or maybe printed up, but it ended up so ripped and munted that it was like in pieces. It had tape stuff over it. Like it was just, it was a complete mess. So someone
remade one.
Remade it and then came up to me at the Drift event the other night and said, I'm the guy that remade that thing. I said, we got some new segments and some stuff has changed. He goes, I have to make you a new one. Maybe he did.
So hold it up, Martin, because we're going to do a quick comparison. And we have...
Oh, yes.
Car news. Is that even legal? Let's check that it's right.
Oh, dude, he did it like that.
Window shopping, mycrapcar, tinfoil hat cat, Fank of the week, mytown, storytime mailbag, random eat
How
bag.
good is that?
Well done. So Martin, be careful. Do you know what we're going to do?
What?
Okay, legit, we're going to do this. No, leave it.
No, I just want that one because I want to hang this one up.
Okay.
I didn't rip it. I mean, I did.
Someone
signed as well
of U38 who gets this poster. Are you seeing this poster right here? Someone who buys this after watching today's episode, we are going to wrap up the Unicorn Circuit set list and you are going to get that with your poster. It's going to be wrapped up inside. This is the thing that we've pretended not to look at for like the last 100 episodes, so we know what we're doing. One of you is going to get it. The thing is popping down now. Thank you very much for that. Also, there's a letter. It says, hi, Marty and Moog. Finally saw you guys face to face. Had a quick chat with Marty and Scotty on the second drift night you guys had at SNSP. I'm one of the few that probably still actually watches the Unicorn Circuit.
Oh, righto.
Brutal. No, he says, rather than treating it like a podcast. Here's an updated run sheet with your new segment, window shopping. It's only small, but I hope it helps make the show a little bit less chaotic. Unlikely. Here's my cars in case you're interested. My first car in daily, 1984 Nissan 300C, an Australian-delivered Nissan Cedric.
Yeah, man.
My second car was featured in mycrapcar when Marty became a very lifeless puppet, or he was overseas. There's more over here. May want to read this off camera, but I'm happy for you to read it on camera if you choose. That's permission.
Okay.
I'm a little curious how you handle the social media side of your hobby, MCM. I'm an introvert by nature, but I also work as a teacher, a job that requires me being the centre of attention and the one people want to talk to and ask questions of. To socially recharge, I spend 1 to 2 hours not interacting with other humans in the afternoon, usually watching YouTube. I'm curious if there are things that you do to socially recharge or if you don't feel the need to do so. Cheers, Adrian. You want to go or me?
Yeah,
It's a very, very good question, Adrian.
I know what you mean by the recharge. When we do a meet's a good example because we can meet up to 4,000 people in a day. That is a lot of humans. Like there's and a lot of people that want to talk about different things. Common ground, I find a good one. A dude came up to me yesterday. I think I was at the shops. He just walked up and he was cool. He was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And for me, it's just common ground. I go, "What are we both interested in?" Because essentially, this is parasocial. You've watched the stuff. I don't know who you are, whatever, but you're friendly and you're a nice person. So, what is it that we're both into? And the answer is usually car stuff. So normally for me, the recharge and the way that I handle that situation is to be like, man, like tell me about your car, like what have you got, or what did you drive here in, or like what are you interested in, and that conversation immediately kicks it into something we're both familiar in, rather than one of us just only being familiar. And so, I mean, I can't answer that in terms of teaching. But I know that's definitely what recharges my battery, which can be draining if it's just a whole lot of people in your face at once. Yeah. I don't know about introvert, extrovert. I've never really dived into that. I think it's possible to be both in different situations.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I don't necessarily subscribe to both, but I think I know the feeling of both. Sometimes extrovert, you're on stage, you're doing a thing, you're filming videos, and sometimes you're like, I just want to like back off from human interaction. But we are social beings, and so I think it's good to be social.
And you can change. I think sometimes by referring to yourself as I'm a person that is an introvert.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a person that has depression. I'm a person that has insert whatever. I'm a person that has a sleep issue. I'm a person that has... I think all of these kinds of things, and people do it because they're easy, broad brushstrokes to give. But I think what you can do sometimes is paint yourself into a corner because you take on all the other attributes of what that little pigeonhole is. So I understand that we use broad brushstrokes to try and differentiate different people, but I think Marty makes a really good point that it says you're an introvert by nature, yet at the same time, part of you decided to become a teacher, which means stand out in front of a lot of people and spread wisdom and spread education. And I would think that a part of that requires you to be some kind of an extrovert to share that, as weird as that sounds. For me, like I kind of like going like out bush sometimes, whether it's on a motorbike, whether it's going for a run. I used to run always with headphones on, and then I read this book, I don't know, it was like Born to Run, and it was like saying sometimes when you're doing that, you're actually still taking in music and content and podcasts and other things, and sometimes it's good just to go and run. And so I've started doing that less, and sometimes when I've been running now, I hear things and I look over and I've seen like wallabies and possums, like I'm definitely picking up more of that stuff.
Got it with your flashlight.
Marty does make an excellent point that we are social, but at the same time, I think you sometimes need like no technology, nothing, and just to go and like sit under a tree. It sounds cheesy, but actually have a look around. And what I do is I look at trees and stuff that are particularly big old ones, and I was like, this was here before I was even born, and it'll probably be here after I'm dead. And there's something about that makes me feel like, oh, the world existed and will exist beyond me and any of my things.
That's true. That's well said. Well said. I'm going to move on to this one as well. This is from James. It says, hey Marty and Moog, long time watcher, keep up the great content. Like Marty, I'm a bit of a Subaru tragic. I love them, but they're a constant source of financial ruin. On this train of thought, I designed a shirt which pictures of mine and a mate's Subaru and the tagline, I am financially Subaruined.
That's great.
I've actually seen this shirt in the wild, and I had a good chuckle at it when I saw it before. So I've seen this before, and I've still.
Dude, you're going to wear that? Because that's great.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a go. It's awesome. That's right. I wore it to the MCM Tassie meet, and you enjoyed enough, took a photo of it. There you go. So that's what it was.
Oh, that's where you saw it. That's cool.
You enjoyed a shirt, and you were doing a Subaru build soon.
Hello.
Smell the head gaskets from here.
Smell more than
Sweet
that.
coolant. I figured that your own financially Subaru shirt would be appropriate. I hope you got the sizing close enough. Thanks for the content. It was great to meet. Also, how I know the Subaru content's coming up, I started working at PT Motorsport last year, and the other day I saw an email come through about a drive-by-wire pedal bracket that the guys designed and developed. Pretty pumped to be able to send you guys something which will be on an MCM car. I did receive it, thank you very much, especially as I folded that particular bracket. How cool! He made the part that's going into a Subaru they were doing. That's awesome. I hope this might mark the return of the beep, but keen for any Subaru content. Unfortunately, my Subaru is broken. It was briefly on the Yukon circuit when I did mytown, and I drove it up to Sydney for the Lib Club meet in 2019. So for now, I've got my shitbox GC8 with 410,000 Ks on it. Good effort. Daily with 410,000 Ks. That's a good effort.
Well done.
That's very, very cool. Thank you, James. That was an excellent thing, and I will, if this fits me, I will absolutely wear it. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the random bag. I pulled that out of the unicorn. Who made that? Are you in the comments still? I love that.
That's so good.
Next year, I reckon we get a couple of new unicorn bags.
So
Not because
creative,
there's
man.
anything wrong. We've got this one. We've got the Super Turbo one. We've got the original one that was sent in. Very, very clever.
And
so
if you like bags, just wait.
Why? Are you working on a Skyline?
No. If you like bags, just wait.
Martin, we're about to eat a Dunkel Craftig caramel. Do you want a Dunkel Craftig?
Yeah.
Now, these ones are a product.
Breaks a rule, though, dude.
What's the rule?
The rules.
This is.
Sweet before savoury rule. Because I've got to have lunch, man.
Okay, Martin.
I know.
I'll give you 3 taps on the shoulder and you'll be fine. Hey, Martin, this one is a product of August Storag, which I think is in Deutschland, which is what people who don't speak English call Germany. That looks okay. Does anyone know what this is? Like, are we about to get like hammered by some weird kind of
I reckon it's a licorice.
like,
Is it a
licoricey
licoricey
thing?
fantail?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's just a fantail. Or is it coffee or something?
Oh, I hope it's not coffee. No, it's a. We call these a fantail,
Nah.
but in Australia, on the wrapper, it has a random fact. Like, did you know that John Farnham sings songs?
Smoked durries
Did he?
for a long time. I think he only just quit.
John Farnham is an Australian singer. Excellent. Has a song called You're the Voice from an album called Whispering Jack, recorded by one of the first people that Marty and I worked for, Rodney. He was the studio assistant. He's on the liner notes. He was just a kid. The album sounds amazing. Mid-80s. Hello, Rodney.
Thanks for the job, Rod.
You're a good boss.
Only person ever got a full-time job off, ever. It was a good 18 months or whatever it was.
Yep.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Hung out with him. Still hanging out with him.
All right.
Off to the flashlight forum.